Hello, this is the luckiest maths teacher in the world. Thank you so much for tuning into this video in which we will look at absolute values, also called modulus. So we're looking at things like this. So this is read as the absolute value of 3. It just means how far is this from 0 on the number line. So the distance from 0 to 3 is just 3. But what about the distance from 0 to minus 3? Well, the distance here is the same. It's the same length from here to here as from here to here. But distance is always positive. So the absolute value of -3 is also +3 because it's a distance 3 from 0 on the number line. So you might be seeing a pattern here. When you take the absolute value of a positive number, it just returns that number. When you take the absolute value of a negative number, you just basically drop the negative sign. You just basically make it positive. The absolute value of 0, however, is 0 because it's no distance from itself on the number line. So the absolute value of 5 is just 5. Absolute value of -2, when you take the absolute value of a negative, you just make it positive. So how would we solve equations like this? So if the absolute value of x equals 4, there are two solutions. We can either have x is 4 or x equals -4. If you take the absolute value of 4, you get 4. If you take the absolute value of -4, you also get 4. So this absolute value is a function. It has one input and it yields one output. If we want to solve an equation like this, we again have two cases. We're taking the absolute value of 3x minus 2, and we're getting an answer of 1. So the thing inside the absolute value function could either be 1 or it could be -1. And these equations are both very easy to solve. In both cases, we simply add 2 to both sides and divide by 3. We simply add 2 to both sides and divide by 3. So here we have two solutions. All right, let's now look at graphing absolute value functions. So let's have a go at graphing y equals the absolute value of x. So to do that, I'm going to look at just y equals x normally. So that's a straight line. It passes through the points 1, 1, 2, 2. It goes through the origin as well. So y equals x is this line here. But the thing is, when you're taking the absolute value of something, the answer has to be 0 or positive. It can never, ever be negative. So y can never take a negative value here. So what do I do with all these negative y values in this section of the graph? Well, I simply make them positive because when you take the absolute value of a negative, you simply make it positive. So when x is -1, y is also -1. So I'm just going to change it. So when x is -1, y is +1. Basically what I'm doing is simply reflecting this part of the graph that's below the x-axis. Similarly, it goes through the point -2, 2. So I'm just going to change the y value so it's positive. So it goes up here. So it's actually going to look like this. So we need to put arrows on the end. This is the graph of y equals the absolute value of x. So we don't include in our final answer this part here that we reflected, so I'm going to get rid of it. So let's look at this one, y equals the absolute value of 2x plus 1. So an easy way to graph this is find the x-intercept. That's going to be like the low point of the graph. So the x-intercept occurs when y is equal to 0. So if y is substituted for 0, I get 0 equals 2x plus 1. Just simply subtract 1, divide by 2, you get x equals -1/2. So the graph of y equals 2x plus 1, it has an x-intercept of -1/2, which is about there. Its y-intercept is 1. So the graph normally looks like this, and then it goes down here, continues on. But because the absolute value of a negative just gives a positive, we reflect this part of the graph. So instead of going down here, it is going to go up here above the axis. So absolute value graphs always have this V shape here. So this is the graph of y equals absolute value of 2x plus 1. It always has to be on or above the x-axis because y can never be negative. Alright, thank you so much for tuning into this video. This has been the luckiest maths teacher in the world. Have a great day.